Are you bullish on Avalanche? What do you think about Avalanche? Are you bullish?
And like with Amazon picking up the first official partnership with Avalanche, that's a pretty big thing. I mean, just think about the reach that Amazon has. Think about just how much their money is backed by them. Think about how much it actually pushed things forward. So, like, if I take a look at Avalanche, that's a pretty big deal. Now, will it lead into something? Nobody knows. Nobody can really tell you for 100% sure. But I mean, that's some enormous news. It's almost like, I mean, when we had Polygon, when they got picked up by the incubator for Disney, and they were one of only 5 companies globally to be chosen. I love Polygon. So like with this, I'm like, this is another big thing. To me, it makes me more bullish on Avalanche than I was before, because everybody talked about what? They talk about Ethereum. They would talk about Polygon. They would talk about Cardano. They would talk about Cosmos, but no one was really, and then Polkadot, of course, right? But no one's really saying too much about Avalanche. This, I think, changes the whole narrative with Avalanche moving forward. Now, I have some because I'm biased, of course, but every layer one I just talked about, I also own those too, because I don't know which one's going to make it, so I diversify. But yeah, I could see this doing something big.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. This is definitely pretty big news. So actually, I didn't know they were the only blockchain to partner officially with Amazon, with AWS. That's pretty good, because I know Solana partnered with Google, and Google's partnered with some other L1s, but for AWS to choose Avalanche, I can definitely see why. I also do own Avalanche. I've been staking it for about a year now. I did attend their conference in Barcelona last year, and that was pretty
What'd
good.
you think?
And
Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, it wasn't as big as Breakpoint, which I also went to in Portugal. Breakpoint was, I mean, they were just throwing money everywhere. One of the most lavish conferences I've been to, right? But I think Avalanche, what stuck out to me was the number of gaming projects building on Avalanche. And Subnets, I saw Subnets really as the next catalyst for Avalanche to potentially do well. And I've mentioned before how we're bullish on the whole narrative of a multi-chain world and basically application side chains. And in a way, Subnets kind of give you that, right? So how Cosmos has app chains, I feel like with Subnets, it's kind of the same concept. So being able to have an L1 that secures other blockchains, I think is very, very bullish. And I think Avalanche is one project we're bullish on the long term. The reason why I'm bullish on it, besides having good technology and also having a good architecture, one of the best technical white papers I've read. When they launched, I am kind of disappointed I was kind of late to the Avalanche train. 2, the whole subnets and app chains. 3, they're well funded for the next market cycle, so we know they can survive any bear market. And then 4, in this market cycle or in the last bull run from last year, they had actual traction in terms of projects building on them, right? So we know, we've seen them already court developers and have some applications do well. I know when we had the whole DeFi 2.0 craze happening with Olympus DAO, some forks like Time Wonderland had lots of traction. Basically, there were Ethereum dApps that were forked over to Avalanche, and that to me showed that, okay, they can steal some thunder from Ethereum and Ethereum developers. And now as they build during this bear market, I think next market cycle, they could definitely bounce back. So I don't really see them going anywhere. They built a pretty good ecosystem. They're basically targeting particular niches from gaming. And I think that's a good narrative for them to focus on, because they can outcompete over Ethereum and other L1s in terms of that.
L1s, they can beat them, but the L2s, I mean, if you're taking a look at like Polygon and ZK Ropes, all those things, like the things that are the gaming software, or the games that are built on Polygon, they can actually compete because they're not so, dastardly expensive. I mean, if you can get even cheaper than that, that's all people want. They want it fast, they want it cheap, and they want it dependable. So they don't want these chains to just automatically just go down. They don't want them to be centralized or more centralized, because that's what caused them to go down when they have to reset everything. They want things to be as decentralized as humanly possible. And that way, it won't be so bad. That's one of the things I like about Cosmos. I mean, remember, Cosmos, they have crypto.com and a couple different chains on it. One of those was also Luna. And when Luna collapsed, that didn't affect anything whatsoever for all the other chains, because it's essentially, it's a layer 0, but it's different in how they say it, but sure.
Fully agree. So looking at DeFi Llama's data for all these different chains, so obviously Ethereum is doing pretty well as number 1. We have Binance Smart Chain and Tron. Those I don't really like because they're centralized. But Polygon, Arbitrum, and Avalanche are neck and neck, basically 4th, 5th, and 6th. Now, the interesting thing with Avalanche, they have 280 protocols on their protocol, basically building on Avalanche. So In a time like this, I think that's still pretty good relative to other L1s, right? We know Solana only has 91, and TVL has been decreasing ever since the Alameda FTX collapse. But definitely worth looking into Avalanche for the long term.